Hey, welcome. Happy Halloween, everyone. I'm Todd Nauck, or am I Scott Summers, Cyclops from the X-Men? This is my throw it together at the last minute Halloween costume. So it's Halloween, and I'm doing a brand new character mashup challenge. Character mashup challenge where I ask for your suggestions, and then I take two characters randomly chosen to draw. And so earlier this afternoon, I asked for your character suggestions, and this time I'm doing a Monster Mash edition. Actually, I was calling it the Monster Edition, and my wife said, "You mean a Monster Mash?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how did I not think of that?" So this is the Monster Mash edition, the Monster Mash edition. So I asked for one superhero and one monster. So I randomly chose one superhero, and then ran the random number generator again, and from that number chose that person's monster selection. So we'll start with the monster selection first. From Cody E, Pennywise. How opportunistic is this that we would get such a popular character at this time to draw for this year's Monster edition of the Character Mashup Challenge. So we got Pennywise here. I'm going with the current Pennywise look because just design-wise, I think it's very strong and be really fun to draw. Now, I have to mash this up with a superhero or supervillain. So when I ran the number generator, I got from Matt P, Nightwing. Nightwing plus Pennywise. Now, I chose the 1980s Nightwing. Because what is scarier than a disco-styled superhero costume when you think about it? So I got to merge Nightwing and Pennywise here to make one all-new character, Pennywing, as I'm calling this character here. So we have Pennywing coming up now. Because this is my first time, it's very Pennywise heavy. So I started with the illustration first. I started to rough it out. And I have that shot as a separate video. So here we go. Here is the pencil version, only available here on the YouTube channel. So it's a bit time-lapse, so it's a little sped up here. I don't draw this fast. This is about sped up maybe two or three times the normal speed. Let's see, it took me several tries. This is my third try to get it. I tried putting Pennywing in a real Nightwingy sort of jumping pose, and it just wasn't working. So I went with more the Pennywise route, where it's more the kind of stalking towards you sort of look. So it really played well for this space here a bit better. Now I wanted to keep Pennywise long and lanky, and realized that with the 9x12 board and where I had started my placement, I couldn't get the entirety of his legs in there. Couldn't get it all the way down to the feet, so I just went down to the upper, just below the knee there, for more of closer to a bit more than a half figure. So roughing in the different details of Pennywise and Nightwing's costumes, kind of merging the two, keeping aspects in mind of how Pennywise looks, and then how would the Nightwing elements fit amidst that. And that's why I chose the 1980s Disco Nightwing costume, because I thought it would play really well detail-wise with Pennywise costume. And so just roughing in enough of the details so that when I take it to inks, I know what I want to do, and those inks will be coming up fairly soon. So just a few more tweaks of the hands, of the cuffs, of the ruffles, just to kind of really get myself that information I need, and some of the Nightwing aspects. It's all just clues for me for the shapes that I want to ink. Just tightening up the hair and the facial features here just a little bit before we go to the inks. Make sure those are all in the right place and give that Pennywise feel that I want, and want to make sure it comes across, especially with those teeth. The shapes of his cheek and chin, the lip. He has a very big, a lot of bottom lip. And now roughing in some of the dark parts, because this isn't Pennywise colored costume. It'll have a lot of Nightwing aspects, and there's a lot of black to Nightwing's costume. So I want to make sure I signal myself for where to add those shadows. Just as I go, I just kind of realize things I need to tighten up more, things I want to tighten up more, and just to make sure I got it where I want it. So here's a shot of the pencils. And all right, so let's head on over to the next stage. Let's flip the camera around. I'm going to take these off because I cannot draw with these on. I can barely read your comments with these on. But do post your questions and comments. I'll do my best to answer while I draw. But please know that most of my focus goes into the artwork, so I can't promise I can answer every question. So let's get cracking. So starting with the 0.8 micron. Just going to start up here at the top and work our way down for the most part, or at least for the moment. Pennywise Yellow Lantern, yeah, that would have been good if it had worked out that way. But pretty much any monster would pair well with a yellow lantern, since a monster's whole job is about scaring people. That's right, this one's called Pennywing, because it's Pennywise and Nightwing. Do have to say I really dig Pennywise's hair. It's very fun to draw. We gotta give it a little extra here on the bottom to give it that Nightwing 80s mullet sort of look. So keep the lines flowing in the direction of the hair. Like I studied my Pennywise reference and other material and saw the shape of the hair, the initial shape, and then how would the hairs flow. A lot of people ask, how do you draw hair? How do you get good at hair? So a lot of it is just work from photo reference. Study real life hair. That is going to really help. It takes a while to kind of develop one's eye to see those shapes, but once you start to see the general shape of the hair and the flow, it's then practicing those shapes and line movements to create that texture. I don't have to draw in every single strand of hair. That's not my style. Some people do, and that's totally cool. But for me, it's more the blocks of hair, the chunks of hair, creating the sense that there's hair, necessarily than drawing every last strand. Was it hard to combine? Not terribly hard, because a lot of this is just pretty much Pennywise's costume, but with a Nightwing color scheme is probably where we'll see a lot of the Nightwing come in. Did have to figure a way to put the mask on. I'm going to switch down to the, come back pen, to the 0.1 for a little finer detail as we work the face here. Let's get the nose here. Eyes. These weird snaggle teeth. Talk about my original character Jack-O-Lantern and how I came up with him. You know, I might have to save that for a separate broadcast. I don't know if I can accurately tell that story while putting the thought into this into this illustration here. But I appreciate you asking about that. Absolutely. So say we're working in Nightwing's mask here. Put in some of those little scratches and cracks in his head there. Does he have a lazy eye? Does Pennywise have a lazy eye? Didn't really notice that in my searching of photo reference. You're loving the Jack-O-Lantern comics. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. For those of you who are just now hearing about Jack-O-Lantern, you can see his comic strips here on the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. There's a dedicated album for those. So you can read the new one that went up today. Try to get those up about as regularly as possible whenever I have the time. So, gotten 3 up, 3 done so far. Whoop. Switching back to the 08. Let's add some blacks here to Nightwing's mask. Pennywing's mask, yes. The Nightwing mask part of the Pennywing design. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for keeping it on theme. So I'm not filling it in entirely black. I want some breaks in it so that when I add some grays there, it just gives it a little, just giving it more texture. It gives it a more of a creepy look than just filling it all in completely black. Now there are some big black chunks in here, but around the eyes, having it broken up there creates texture for the viewer to for their eyes to play with. I have to keep in mind the red that goes from his brow down to his cheeks. So that will come into play in the color stage. All right. So let's get this collar going. So it's this series of zigzags, in a sense. Squared off the zigzags to get the ruffle going. You have 2 layers of ruffles at least. So I roughed in the kind of circular pattern. And then from the tops, just draw lines towards the neck to give a sense of the ruffling. Let's do it again. Here for a second row of ruffles. And then they get just the ruffles get tighter as we work our way to the side there. It's creating a sense of depth because they wouldn't have the same width spacing as we move around the side. Okay, now for his puffy sleeves. Now this is where we get some more Nightwing action, costume action in the design here. So just giving some wrinkles. First, want to get the basic puffy shape going. So not putting a lot of thought in it, not overthinking the ruffles, just or the wrinkles, just bap 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 bap. Now that's been practiced, so so it makes it a little easier for me to just kind of throw them in there. I've drawn wrinkles a lot in the course of my career. Then a little cinching there. Then we have another row of kind of a ruffly texture. We want to work in there. And then I'll point out the Nightwing part that will be coming into play. Okay. So Nightwing has these gold, what would you call those? Scales, stripes, plating of sorts. We're going to work that here into the shoulders of the Pennywise sleeves. So it gives us, we're starting to move towards that Pennywing look. So he has 2 rows. So I'm going to split the puffy sleeve. Now arc the stripes in there like that. Now do the other side. There we go. Let's bring in the chest part of his design. Got to get these little fuzzy buttons on here. So who is everyone dressing up as for Halloween this year? What's your costume going to be? Assuming you're wearing a costume. Am I going to Copic's? Yep, we'll be taking this one to Copic's. We should have enough time for that. So I want to work in more of the chest part of Nightwing's costume here. Nightwing. Add more Nightwing aspects to the Pennywise aspects. Demigorgon. You're going to be a Demigorgon? Did you make your own Demigorgon costume? It's pretty awesome. Put some darks through here for the dark part of the Nightwing look. Let's see. Going as yourself, right on. The best character you can be. Spider-Gwen, awesome. Charlie is Spider-Man, and Liz will be a burglar that you caught. Oh, that's awesome. I like a family-themed costume there. Throwing on a Superman t-shirt and going as Old Man Soups. Love it. Great idea. Luke Cage, right on. Oh, you're going to do an Aquabat. I want to be an Aquabat sometime. I need to get the whole Aquabat gear. I need to get the mask and the helmet and the belt and the rash guard shirt thing. I know they sell it on their site. I just have to take the time to go and purchase the whole Aquabat kit. I did lose some weight, so I don't know if I need a large or a medium, so not sure how tight those surf rash guards fit. So might have to see if they have a frequently asked questions or send an email inquiring about that. So I've worked in this part of the Nightwing costume, the black area, the light blue area, these gold areas here through the Pennywise part. Do I have a favorite monster? I do. I do have a favorite monster. I have several favorite monsters. My favorite monsters are the kind that they can be kind of creepy or scary or like, you know, like strong or the kind you don't want to mess with, but they're also friendly. So my favorite monsters are Chewbacca, Benjamin J. Grimm the Thing, and Cookie Monster. Those are my favorite monsters. Probably not the answer many people would expect, but it's mine. That's my answer. Now, I know Chewbacca is a Wookiee, and that's an alien race, and so he's technically not a monster, but when I was a child, I perceived him as a monster. So he fits in the monster category for me based on my childhood experience. Not to say anything of... Not making any pejorative comment on Chewbacca. Because he's one of my faves. You're dressing up as Weeks Mark Henry? Right on. WWE? Gotcha. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the kind words, gang. Thanks. I like that. I appreciate that y'all like what you're seeing so far. So getting his bloomers here going. Oh, you love my new Thor comic. Thank you. Yes. Thor, Where Walk the Frost Giants. It's my latest comic out. Came out last Wednesday. Hopefully your shop still has copies and you can pick up one if y'all haven't read it yet. If y'all are just tuning in, this episode's character mashup is Pennywise and Nightwing. So we have Pennywing going on here. Introducing Pennywing. Your comic shop has you on a pull list for my stuff. I appreciate that. Sounds like you got a good shop. Start to work in the cuffs here. Yes, this one will be taken to Copic color. We should have enough time for that. That's why I did the pencils as a separate video before we started the broadcast, so that there'd be enough time to see this one to completion. So once we get the line art work done here, we'll move it to Copic marker. So stay tuned, true believers. Hope Stanley won't mind me stealing his tagline there. Just this once. I'm going as Stanley for Halloween. Okay, I'm not going as Stanley. I'm going as a Stanley Jack Kirby creation. Cyclops. For those of you who weren't here for the beginning to see me in my Cyclops Scott Summers costume. But if you've met me at a convention, you've probably seen me do my Cyclops Scott Summers casual cosplay. Okay, we'll add more black there. I'm going to save a lot of this for the Pentel Pocket brush pen to spot the blacks. Just works better. I wanted to keep the linkiness to Pennywise here, or Pennywing as we're calling him. So I ran out of, on a 9x12, it didn't have enough room for his feet, so it kind of fades out here as we get down to the shins, so just past the knees. So this is more of a half figure illustration. Actually, almost a 7/8 figure. Am I coming to South Africa? No plans to be at South Africa. Missed me at Stanley Comic Con. I missed being there. I've only been to that show once over the many years, and I've never exhibited. So, but maybe next year. Was it a good con? I'm sure it was. Looked like from the photos I was seeing that people were having a good time. Okay, let's get this other hand going. I believe that's French there, Frederick. Unfortunately, my French is not that good. I'm not sure what you're saying, but I definitely appreciate the comment. Thanks for the kind words, gang. Oh, another person from France. Hello. Hello to Paris. Where's everyone watching from? Where are you tuning in from? Delaware, right on. Waco, Texas, awesome. Daytona Beach, right on. Tucson, LA, right on, right on. Chino, San Diego, so a lot of Californians tuning in. All right, let's get the balloon going here. Michigan, Stockbridge. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. Use my French curve. Get the balloon string going. right, now we take before I fill in the, oops, actually I want to add the bat signal. To the balloon. Now with my Staedtler Mars plastic eraser, take out all these lines. It just works better before filling in large black areas to erase first. Then you get less fading and less risk of the paper tearing from that much ink pooling. Oops, didn't mean to shake the camera there. Sorry, gang. Now with the Pentel Pocket brush pen. I need to come to Alamo City Comic Con or Austin Wizard World. I'd love to come out to those areas. Now, if you want to see some of your favorite creators at these conventions, be sure to let the convention know. Let the convention know I want to see these creators. So let them know you want to see me there, and hopefully they'll extend an invite. That's how I've gotten to a number of conventions I don't usually get a chance to go to, like Denver Comic Con and St. Louis, or not St. Louis, what was it? Salt Lake Comic Con. I had the promoters come up and say, hey, our fans have asked for you to be a guest. We'd love to have you out. So let them know. You can always see what my convention schedule is on toddnauck.com. Haven't posted for 2018 yet, but I can say I will be at Emerald City this year. Or not this year, in 2018, I should say. I wasn't there this year, but I will be there here for 2018. And more dates to come. So you want to stay tuned to toddnauck.com for all my upcoming convention appearances. And if you don't see yours listed, let your con promoter know you want to see me. And usually at your conventions, you can either tweet it to your convention or post it on their social media page or send them a polite email. How do I angle my camera so that y'all can watch me draw? I have a camera clip. It's like the kind that you'd use in your car. It's a gooseneck, a Bestech gooseneck camera clip. Got it at Amazon. Just search out Bestech, Bestek, and you can get one there. They cost about $10, so relatively inexpensive. All right, so here we go. This is the line art for Pennywing. For those of you just tuning in, the mashup is Pennywise and Nightwing. Pennywise and Nightwing is who we're mashing up with. I chose the 80s Nightwing because I thought it would be scarier. And it would also give me more details to play with. So now let's pull out the Copic markers and let's get to adding some color to this. Thanks for everyone's comments and questions. Sorry I'm not able to catch all the questions, but do feel free to continue to post. So let's start with the Pennywise skin here. So starting with a BG90. I think it's kind of this creepy greenish bluish gray, which I think will play well here as a initial shading for the skin. So keeping heavier color down here, but leaving more white up here so that we really get that roundness of his chrome dome. Same with the cheeks. Want to keep the roundness in his face. Same with the chin. So you want to have the light hitting on the forehead, on the cheeks, on the chin to really convey the roundedness. Let's come in with a little BG 000 to get a little bluish shade in there. I'm kind of basing this off of the photo reference I pulled down, looking at the colors that I see in that photo reference. So that's what I'm basing my color choices on. And that's how I do it for a lot of my Copic illustrations, is I look at photo reference, look at skin tones, look at hair colors, and then think what colors do I see there? I see reds, I see grays, I see blues, whatever it is. Let's add a little cool gray to this as well. Let's start with some cool gray 1. Just adding this in certain places where I want the darker shadows. So already there you can see, let's pull them a little closer to the camera, you can see the creepiness coming in. Let's see, and now let's do the hair here. Gonna keep it red hair. Nightwing might have black hair, but Pennywing, we're going to keep the kind of reddish hair because it's so stark. It really stands out. So I'm starting with some YR27 for the root of the hair for the moment. Kind of root and kind of the darker shadow area. Let's come in with some come in with a little red. Let's add just a little more red in here. Some R27. Let's go ahead and use some of this R27 here on the nose and through the lip. Let's come in with a little R16. Whoa, come back. Start to blend these colors through. So I let the orange kind of overlap the red and that brownish orange to create the blending that I want. And a little YR12, very light shade of orange. So there we go. Now let's see, I think Pennywise kind of has some yellowish orangish eyes, so we're going to come in with some YR13. To initially get that yellow in there. Let's do some Y00 for the kind of the white part around the eye. It's kind of got a yellowish tinge to it. Maybe come in with a little warm gray 0. And let's come in with a little kind of orangish yellow to shape out that eye a little more. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see, let's go ahead and drop in the red. Let's go for a little darker red, a little R27. Use a little bit of that in the nose here underneath. A little bit of this through the lip. And then definitely through the... comes through his mask. That the little face stripes comes through over the mask to really bring home that aspect. Let's bring it here closer to the camera so you can see what we're doing there. Let's see. So now a lot of this will be Nightwing's costume colors. So we definitely need to go with some light blue. So let's start with some B12. So Nightwing's collar is light blue, so we're going to make this ruffled collar light blue. So we'll use several different blues to achieve this. It's also this portion of Nightwing's costume is blue, or the light blue I should say. So we'll carry this on through. And his gloves are blue, so we'll put that through the ruffles here. Same on this hand. Oh, thanks so much. Honored to know I'm one of your favorite comic book artists. Thank you, Brandon. I'm one of your mentors. Gotcha, right on. Appreciate the kind words. Glad to know my videos have been a help for you and your craft. All right, I'm going to take a little artistic license here, and we're just going to cuff out the ruffles here underneath. Nightwing doesn't have a light blue portion there, but I think this will kind of pull things together nicely. And then his boots are light blues, so we'll give his ruffles and shoes the light blue treatment as well. Fading out into nothingness. You've learned a great deal from my videos. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So now some B01. Another shade of light blue. Pull this through. Just sculpting in the color here with the brush tip. Carrying this lighter shade of blue over the B12 just for maximum blending and saturation. Let's see, so next we need some yellow in here for the shoulder parts. So we're going to do some Y13 as a base. A little bit through here on the belt. Have you ever been to Stanley's Kamikaze? I went I think it was 2 years ago, just to kind of hang out, but I've never exhibited there, no. But maybe in 2018. So now some Y08, darker shade of yellow. So now we really start to see the Nightwing connection coming together there. Little Y19 for a little darker shade of yellow. And then a little Y triple or Y double zero to kind of blend it all together. Blend all those yellows together, so it's nice and rich. Now let's see. Let's keep the little fuzzy buttons red. So start with a shadow color here first. Little R56. So what I like about the brush tip are these little textures we can get. So I'm approaching it as fuzz. So doing little hash marks there. Now with the Y, or I'm sorry, not the Y, the R27, the similar brush stroke. That one's mostly covered up by the collar, so we don't see all of that. So with the light coming from above, the light is hitting on the tops of the buttons there, so darker, medium, then a little lighter here with the R24. Leaving just a little bit of white in there to give it a highlighty texture. All right, now for the blue of his costume, we're going to start with a B06. B06. Just from the black area out towards the white area. Just leaving some of that white on the board for lighter shades of blue to come in here momentarily. But most of this darker shade of blue is going to connect to the black part. Okay, and a little power down to the B04. A little bit of a lighter shade of blue, taking us to the highlight from the black to the darker blue to this lighter blue to the white. Leaving a little bit of the white of the costume in there for a highlight on the kind of the leathery sort of look to the costume. What kind of markers are these? These are Copic Sketch markers. Copic Sketch markers. Oops, I forgot to put some of the, that was some B04. I forgot to put the B01 in to match down here. Let's get some red up in this balloon here. Let's do the same approach. Just a little bit of a darker shade here. Then to the, so that was a R56, now the B. Or the R, why am I saying B? This is a red. Not a blue, an R27. A lot of R27 here. This is really the main shade of red this balloon. And then a little R24. Leaving a little highlight here on the balloon where the light is coming down and hitting this happy little balloon in this happy little world where we all float down here. And we'll fill in that bat with some black in a moment here. Actually, we'll go ahead and do that now. Pentel Pocket brush pen again. There we go. Little bat signal on there. Let's drop some grays in here. Just to kind of give this a more shadowed sort of look. Manon. I don't speak French. I took French in high school, but I don't speak enough French to know what you have said there. I'm so sorry. And I don't know if there's a translate option here on the broadcast. So a little cool gray 3. Drop in these cool grays amidst your colors, and it really gives a really nice kind of shadowed effect. Oh, I forgot to put the blues in his mask. The same blues I used on this part of his costume go in his mask. A little cool, or blue B06. Now his mask is it's all gonna come together now. Hello from Arizona. Hello, Arizona. Now some B04. There we go. That looks much better. So back to the cool gray 3. Cool gray through the ruffles. These ruffles have ridges. Same. Just keep this cool gray 3 going through here, through the yellow parts here. Really shadows it out really nicely. That cool mixing with the warm colors of the yellow. I really like how that translates. Put it through the ruffles there. Through the fuzzy buttons. I'm keeping in mind the shape of the costume, his body, the wrinkles. Keeping these things in mind as I drop in the gray on how I'm structuring and shaping the shadows. The shape of the material, the shape of his body, the shape of his hair, that comes into play. That's what the shadow is there for. Is to help. It helps show that shape. Because light hits on one side, shadow falls on the other side, and we start to get the shape we want or need to accurately, or as accurately as possible, show the shape with shadow. So when you're working on your shadows, remember the other SHs. Show the shape. Show the shape. Figure out where the light source is, where will be light, opposite side, shadow. I'm going to bring in a little cool gray 4, just a little darker gray. Just for some contrast and some darker recesses of the costume. Like here on the armpits, less light's going to hit in there. Across the bottom, underneath his chin. Wherever less light is going to hit, darker shadows will be. Here inside these ruffles. His fingers here toward underneath. The inner parts of the ruffles, inner part of the leg there. Just kind of have to imagine, where would less light fall? Some of this comes from just studying real life. I'll be looking at things in real life and noticing, where's there more light, where's there less light, where's there more shadow, where do shadows concentrate, where do they get darker? Keep these things in mind when I do my illustrations as best as possible. Where would I have more shadow? I mean, only the shadow knows. All right, Pennywing's coming together. This might be one of my favorite mashups yet. Let's put a little gray through here just to, starting with a little cool gray 5, just to round out this balloon a bit, just to give it a little more depth. A little cool gray 3, boom, ballooned. All right. Okay, let's add just a little bit of kind of a background shade here. Let's come in with some light neutral grays and maybe some light warm grays, kind of a mix. So I'm going to start with some neutral. Start with neutral 3 first. How do I want to approach this? Before I get too far into that, let's just kind of, using the non-repro blue pencil here, just kind of giving some guidelines. Might not show up for you. Hey, what are these smudges down here? Pencil smudges. That's cool gray 5. I didn't want cool gray 5. I wanted neutral gray 3. So I'm making these sweeping motions to kind of create kind of a misty effect. So it's going to be just kind of letting it feather out sort of lightly, a little cool gray 3. Let's come in with a little, let's contrast straight away with some warm gray 1. I want to leave some white on the board here. Don't want to fill it all up with gray. Okay, let's come in with a little, warm gray 3. I'm working everything at an angle this way to get a sense of mist blowing. Now that same BG90 we used in his face, we're going to pull some of that into here as well. Just going to kind of tie it all in together a smidge. Let's get some darker shades in here. Let's get some neutral 4. A little darker here towards the bottom. And let's kind of smooth this all out with some warm gray 0. So I like to come in with my lightest shade, one of my lighter shades, to blend it all through. Just to really, I don't necessarily use a colorless blender for here. Some artists might. I prefer just to use the lightest shade of that color I had been using. This is how I like to blend. I think it keeps it a little more vibrant and truer for the color for me, for my tastes. Now let's do that little bit smoky trick. See if my correction pen's working. Yeah, it's working here. So let's see me do this on the Winter Soldier piece. Taking some Pentel Pocket, Pentel correction pen tool, and just smearing it with my finger here while it's still wet. Starts to create, gives us a sense of cloudy mist coming through here. It's not going to go up too high, just a little bit through here. Just mostly down by his legs here where he's walking. Let's see. Anything else I need to add? Let's add a little bit more gray to the darker parts. So some cool gray 6. Just a little bit through here, just to get a little more shadow, especially up underneath the folds of things. Yeah, that's just what this needed. Just on the darker, bluer parts. Really grounds them there. Just gives it more depth, showing the shape with shadow. And there we go. Let's put my autograph on here. And today is the 31st of October 2017. Usually I don't remember the day. It being Halloween helps me remember the day. So there we go. Let me pull back here so you can see the illustration in its entirety. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Here's the finished piece, and I hope you have a great Halloween. Keep it safe, keep it sane, and keep on drawing and keep having fun. See you next time.